ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। Let us chant from shloka number 80. Samlakshya chinmatrataya. संलक्ष्य चिन्मात्रतया सदात्मनोः
1 minute. Okay. Samlakshya चिन्मात्रतया सदात्मनोः
अखण्डभावः परिचीयते बुधैः
अखण्डभावः परिचीयते बुधैः
एवं महावाक्यशतेन कथ्यते
एवं महावाक्यशतेन कथ्यते
ब्रह्मात्मनोरैक्यमखण्डभावः
ब्रह्मात्मनोरैक्यमखण्डभावः
मृत्कार्यं सकलं घटादि
मृत्कार्यं सकलं घटादि
सततं मृण्मात्रमेवाभितः
सततं मृण्मात्रमेवाभितः
तद्वत् सज्जनितं सदात्मकम्
तत् तत्त्वत् सज्जनितं सदात्मकमिदम्
इदं सन्मात्रमेवाखिलम्
इदं सन्मात्रमेवाखिलम्
यस्मान्नास्ति सतः परं किमपि
यस्मान्नास्ति ततः परं किमपि
तत्सत्यं स आत्मा स्वयम्
तत्सत्यं स आत्मा स्वयम्
तस्मात् तत्त्वमसि प्रशान्तम्
तस्मात् तत्त्वमसि प्रशान्तम्
अमलं ब्रह्माद्वयं यत्परम्
अमलं ब्रह्माद्वयं यत्परम्
निद्राकल्पितदेशकालविषय
निद्राकल्पितदेशकालविषय
ज्ञात्रादिसर्वं यथा
ज्ञात्रादिसर्वं यथा
मिथ्या तद्वदिहापि जाग्रति
मिथ्या तद्वदिहापि जाग्रति
जगत्स्वाज्ञानकार्यत्वतः
जगत्स्वाज्ञानकार्यत्वतः
यस्मादेवम् इदं शरीरकरण
यस्मादेवम् इदं शरीरकरण
प्राणाहमाद्यप्यसत्
प्राणाहमाद्यप्यसत्
तस्मात् तत्त्वमसि प्रशान्तम्
तस्मात् तत्त्वमसि प्रशान्तम्
अमलं ब्रह्माद्वयं यत्परम्
अमलं ब्रह्माद्वयं यत्परम्
जाति नीति कुल गोत्र दूरगम
जाति नीति कुल गोत्र दूरगम
नाम रूप गुण दोष वर्जितम
नाम रूप गुण दोष वर्जितम्
देश काल विषयातिवर्ति यत्
देश काल विषयातिवर्तियत्
ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि
ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि
Yeah. So we have recognized that there is a transition from Shravanam and Mananam to what our acharyas see as Nididhyasanam. There is a big debate. This is our extra information for us. Debate among the acharyas. These days, I don't know, but those days. Whether Shravanam is Pradhanam in Advaita Vedanta or Nididhyasanam is Pradhanam. And just to remind ourselves, Shravanam is Samshaya Nivrittihi. Shravanam is Avarana Nivrittihi. Avarana means that which is blocking my vision. And then removing that, Ajnana. Ajnana Nivrittihi, Avarana Nivrittihi. And then Mananam is Samshaya Nivrittihi, removal of doubts. And Nididhyasanam is what? Viparita Bhavana Nivrittihi. Despite knowing the truth, if I'm unable to live a life in keeping with the truth, that is called Nididhyasana. Or that is what Nididhyasanam does. All right. So,
Kindly
that
tell us Viparita Bhavana.
Nivritti. Nivritti. Nivritti means removal. Everything is Nivritti, you know. Avarana Nivritti, Samshaya Nivritti, Viparita Bhavana, Nivritti. Neutralization of, removal of. So some people say Shravanam is Pradhanam, and some other people say Nididhyasanam is Pradhanam. Why they say Nididhyasanam is Pradhanam? Well, why we say Shravanam is Pradhanam? Hey, because Avarana Nivritti is critical and I must get the hang of it. And I got it, I must be able to say. Then the further process may be required. I have to dwell over the subject matter and all that. The dwelling and all is not part of is what dwelling follows Shravanam, and Shravanam is primary. That is one school of thought. And another school of thought is what? No. Until that Brahma Jnana Phalam is obtained. And which happens after Nididhyasanam. Like that, one school of thought talks about. This is all by the way. And in this book, Bhagavan Shankaracharya assumes all of us are adhikaris. All of us have come to the Shastram wanting to know about Advaita Vedanta. Some samskara is there which says, no, I want to study this. I've studied it before, I was exposed to it, I know Advaita Vedanta is important. And so I have come here. That is, teach me about the Shastram. This is what Shastram is for us. And therefore, only a person who can who has that samskara, who has, who, for whom the tide is already turning, so to speak, has come to the Shastra. And so, therefore, all the basics we don't have to talk about. Artha, Kama, and Dharma also we don't have to talk about, because without following Dharma, there is no chance of even coming here. So, therefore, Shankara doesn't spend any time. Our Granthas don't spend any time. Even Yamadharmaraja doesn't spend time on Dharma. The boy straight away asks, Anyatra Dharmat, Anyatra Dharmat. And so, all that ought to have taken care of. And after that, the Shastram is learnt, and then Swamiji says, um, every day is a Leela, is what? Project, enter, enjoy. These are the words Swami Paramarthanandaji uses. Project means project a world. A world is projected. And I know it is being projected. I know I'm now in a movie right now. But movie doesn't mean things are unreal, like a movie. I can doze off in the movie while watching a movie. But this movie is a different kind of movie where I have to act. There's no choice. So still it's a movie though. Once I recognize it's a movie, my response is going to be different. My response can be even more objective. And so it says, project a world, then enter the world, and then enjoy the world. This is what he says. It seems some people came and told him during this COVID, Swamiji, nothing to do. Morning to evening, Netflix, it seems. Netflix. And then Swamiji said, for us also, there is nothing to do. Morning to evening, it's all movie only. Without Netflix, movie. Without we are already permanently subscribed. You guys have to renew the membership, but we don't have to renew. I would have put it little differently. For you, it is Netflix. For us, it is Nathiflix. So that is just a stretch. So, uh, like our Swami Dayananda ji says once, it seems once what happened in the 1950s or something, there was a protest. Sannyasis launched a protest to the Indian government. They went to march to Delhi and then said cow slaughter must be stopped in India. Swamiji also was involved. And anyway, they went protested. They were locked up in jail and all that. They spent a week in jail and then they all came back to Rishikesh. Then some sannyasis came to him and said, Swamiji, we should go to protest again. Said, protest again means what? You're going to get locked up and what are you talking about? Why would you? No, Swamiji, this jail is a quiet place. Free food is coming. Nice place to study Bhagavad Gita. And like that, it seems sannyasis were telling him, now tell me, what is a prison? What is a prison? Four walls make a prison? Four walls? You don't need four walls to feel like a prisoner. Okay? I can be a prisoner wherever I am, or I can be free wherever I am. Suddenly it came to mind. So, these sannyasis are like that. We won't understand their language. We don't know where they're standing and talking from. And so now, as I said last time, having heard the Shastram, I have to get the benefits of the study. That's the idea. Benefits of the study. So my fears should have reduced significantly. My anxieties should have reduced significantly. My way of looking at things has changed now. Previously, I was a competitor. Had to compete with everybody. Neighbor also have to compete. It looks like we are friends, but we are not really friends. Because push comes to shove, I will compete, correct? And some water shortage is there means what do? You have to go, get up and in India, all these things we had experience of. Some shortage is there somewhere. then things change differently. Friends become enemies also. So that is how, even without shortages and all, I'm competing, competing, competing. That is how it is. We have to be matlabi, otherwise you won't get what you want. And so we have some decorum is there. We maintain a decorum at work and at home and in our communities. We maintain a decorum as much as possible. And but still, the outlook is I have to get something out of the system. And so we saw that with this Vedanta, it is supposed to help me change that mindset. Even though to survive, I have to get things on a daily basis. I have to maintain this body. But otherwise, given all these things, am I relatively free from fear and anxiety and so forth? I can be fear if I can be like that only if I have that vision of the Shastram. That vision is internalized, so to speak. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. I know what it is. And therefore, my life is now led in keeping with that. I'm not reacting like before. Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha. Does that sentence make any sense here? Now, after having studied the Shastram, like that, we can ask those questions. So, last time I was telling you, if such a feeling is not there, if I still have a lot to grow up, if I feel like that, then that feeling is not wrong. That is everybody's feeling. When after listening to it, I feel incomplete. Something is lacking. All right, incomplete. So first one I said, the first one is I still have Shraddha in the Shastram, but I lack clarity. I still need to listen to the Shastram some more. I'm getting it. I've come a long way, but I have to study, continue studying. This is the prescription for anybody in that category. Second thing I told you, it is called Pramana Asambhavana or Pramana Shanka. A doubt about the Pramana. Normally, a Vedic person will not doubt the Veda. It's not possible. It's not possible. That is meaning of Vedic person. But all these external forces, etc., have come and changed that, has disturbed that status. And it could be some samskara also that prevents me, that makes me go against my own Shastram. And then that creates a doubt. How can this Upanishad, studying some text give me moksha? This kind of questions can come. That is called Pramana Asambhavana. So, whether the Shastram can be trusted, that is the question. That is a nagging question. And if that question is there, may not be there. In this group, I'm not saying. I'm talking about in general. So, we are having a nice opportunity to devolve, to unpack, to study the processes surrounding how Advaita Vedanta works in a human being. Okay. And so that is called Pramana Asambhavana. Prameya Asambhavana is going to come later. Pramanam is the means of knowledge, the Veda. Prameyam is, I don't doubt that the Vedas can deliver goods, but there are so many schools of thought. Everybody is saying something different. How can I be the limitless reality, Brahman? And Brahman is the cause of the world. And if I am Brahman, then I must be the cause of this world. All these ideas are coming. How is it possible? That is called Prameya Asambhavana. So the Shastram separates those two out. Pramana Asambhavana. How can Shastram? Both are related. They're not. Technically, we separate these two, but both are related. So therefore, that is why we study the Bhashyam of Bhagavan Shankaracharya, of the Upanishads. Shankaracharya's texts also are there. But Bhashyam, when we study, then we gain more clarity, and we appreciate the profundity of the Upanishads. And you get an idea quickly, even if I don't understand the subject matter completely. You can understand just the depth of thinking, depth of thought that is there, the analysis of the problem that is there. All that revealed to me revealed to me that the pramanam has to be the Veda, can't be anything else. It can't be something that people can sit together and figure out what the solution is. What is the problem? What is the solution? Can't be possible like that. So all the Upanishad bhashyams are there for us to help us out. And then finally, when we study Brahma Sutram, which has 4 adhyayas, 4 chapters. First chapter is devoted to this particular. It's called Samanvaya Adhyaya. Samanvaya. Veda is so big. And so, what exactly Veda talks about? Massive. Veda is not some small piece of text which says something and walks away. No. Karma Kandam and Jnana Kandam is huge. Yesterday, I was talking to somebody, our Ritvik, because I wanted something about Samaveda. Some questions were there, and one Tikakara is quoting Acharya is saying Samaveda has so many shakas, Talavakara shaka, Kauthuma shaka, etc. And this particular shaka has 8 brahmanas, like that he said. And my head was spinning because we don't study these things. We study Upanishads. But the entire Veda, Upanishad is a small part, but entire Veda, if you have to know, means different Vedas are 4 Vedas, and then within that, Shakas are there, and then they talk about Samhita, Brahmanam, and all. And so I wanted to get some intro to that. And after I spoke to him, I got more confused than I was before. So I have a lot of work to do there. And so, but so our Veda Vyasa, Samanvaya Adhyaya. We need a Veda Vyasa, and then we need a Shankaracharya to talk about Veda Vyasa's works. And then it says Samanvaya means every Veda and every Upanishad is really finally talking about the same thing. That same is called Samanvaya. Convergence, how shall I say? Convergence, Samanvaya. Convergence on the same thing. What is the same thing? Moksha. What do you mean by moksha? Siddha Vastu, Upadeshaha. The revelation, the teaching of that Vastu, Brahma, which is already there, which is existing, which is me, unfolding Atma. This is the Samanvaya of the entire Veda. Like that, our Veda Vyasa tells in the first chapter. First chapter of the Brahma Sutram. Highly technical, obviously. Technical. Why? Because you got to look at all these things, what these sentences mean. Apparently different, apparently contradictory, but really not contradictory. All that is encapsulated in sutra form, and then we get to Bhagavan Shankaracharya unpacks it. I'm now learning to use the word unpack because the chat GPT says, let me unpack it for you. I said, wow, how come it's so, I love this word so much. How come people never used that word before? I was thinking. So our Shankaracharya unpacks it. It's a massive unpackage. It must be it's massive because the sutra is so compressed, and now he has to decompress it. And so the debates will be there. Why this? Why not that? Why not that? One Purvapakshi will say, Hey, Atma is Siddha Vastu. I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but Atma is Siddha Vastu. Siddha Vastu means already existing thing. And moksha is also Siddha, you say. Do you say that? Yes. Siddha means what? Already accomplished. Is this clock a Siddha Vastu? Yes, clock is a Siddha Vastu because it is there. You don't have to, it is a produced thing, already there. Are all the things here Siddha Vastu? Yes, they're all Siddha Vastu. Do I need the Veda to make this clock? No. Do I need the Veda to know it is a clock? No. Do I need a Veda to understand how the clock operates? No. Okay. Do I need the Veda for all these other things that are all Siddha Vastus? No. Then Atma is Siddha Vastu, you're saying. Why are you saying I have to rely on the Veda? Because Atma is also Siddha Vastu, you said. Like this, Purvapakshi will ask questions. So, you want to see the Bhashyam? Nano Bhuta Vastutve. Nano means I have an objection. And what is the objection? Bhuta Vastutve Brahmanaha. Hey, Brahman is a Bhuta Vastu, means Siddha Vastu. Nano Bhuta Vastutve Pramanantara Vishayatvam iti. Hey, Pramanantara Vishayatvam. Hey, Atma can only be known through a Pramana which is not one of the Pramanas we have access to. Pramanantara Vishayatvam. Iti. Like that you are telling me. How? You just told me it is Siddha Vastu. Siddha Vastu means it's accessible. I can operate all these things without Veda's help. I don't even have to be a Vaidika for all these things. Like that. And then iti Vedanta Vakya Vicharana Anarthika eva prapta. Hey, therefore, you are talking about Vedanta Vichara and all, which is Pramanam and all that. It's all Anarthika. It is just waste of time and waste of life. And it should not even exist. Like that. Purvapakshi. Bhashyakara is simulating the Purvapakshi. Simulating means what? Acting like a Purvapakshi. Then he said, Siddhanti says, na, no, you're not right. Indriya avishayatvena sambandha agrahana. Hey, all the Siddha Vastus you are talking about are Indriya grahya vishayaha. You are able to look at it, smell it, see it, taste it, and experience it somehow. They're all, yes, they're all accessible by the Indriya Pramanas. But Atma is not accessible to all these Indriyas. It is Siddha Vastu, all right, but not accessible to the Indriyas. Like that, Shankaracharya will respond. We'll do all this. It's going to be very exciting. Now that we have studied for all these years now, it's time for us to get into some of these debates also. So like that, this kind of debate will come. And suddenly our clarity will grow manifold. And even now, when I review some of the notes that Swamiji taught us in the 3-year course and all, I was wondering, my God, all this we did all these things, and it feels profound even now as I study all that. So that's the way to address the second type of intellectual obstacle. Remember, we said intellectual obstacles, emotional obstacles, correct? And then within that, we are now looking at intellectual obstacles, by the way, context. Among that, we said first, basic Shravanam, lack of clarity, continuous study. Day one, nothing is going to happen. Day one, nothing will happen. If I am unprepared and I come on day one, you know what will happen? Then it could even turn into poison. Advaita Vedanta can become poison also for the unprepared person, correct? Poison means I am reminded of another shloka. Anabhyase visham vidya. Anabhyase visham vidya. Ajirne bhojanam visham. Visham sabhadaridrasya. Vriddhasya taruni visham. Look at this. This is beautiful. Anabhyase visham vidya. Visham, you know poison. Anabhyase visham vidya. Hey, Vidya is a poison to the guy. Vidya means teaching, knowledge, whatever. Is a poison, it seems. Hey, I thought Vidya liberates, knowledge liberates. No, no, no. The Subhashitakara says Vidya is a poison for somebody with this. Anabhyase. Now you understand why we are having Abhyasa classes. Anabhyasa means a guy who refuses to, after the bell rings at 3:30 in school, he thinks it's all entertainment till the next morning at 9:30. No, it is not entertainment. Bell rings means you can go home. That's all it means. It doesn't mean anything else beyond that. Then go home and now listen to your parents. That's the meaning. Yeah, of course, you can play, you can enjoy and all that. But it's not all entertainment. This guy who thinks it's all entertainment, and I'm just doing all of you a favor by coming to school like that. If somebody thinks that this guy is called Anabhyase, and for that person, Vidya is going to become poison because he will just twist it completely. Twist. And it won't help. He will bring a bad name to teachers, whatever. Everything. Anyway, Anabhyase Visham Vidya. Then Ajirne Bhojanam Visham. This also you understand. Stomach is growling all the time. It's just not doing what it's supposed to do. And then you put more and more stuff in the mouth, then what will happen? Visham, poison. So for that, for one whose digestive system is not working properly, Bhojanam is Visham. All right. Then Visham Sabha Daridrasya. Very interesting statement. Daridrasya, a person who doesn't have anything at all. You know, a pauper, somebody who's just a homeless person, let's say. Sabha will be Visham. It won't work for him. Sabha means or Kutam. Kutam means a conglomerate, a group of people discussing certain things or meeting for certain things. This person is a faceless guy, and so for him, he can't stand that Visham. Then you got Vriddasya Taruni Visham. Very interesting statement. Vriddasya, for a person who's aged person, senior person, all these young people, Taruni means woman, young lady, And what is the connection between an old person and a young lady? Means physical connection. Nothing. So, but if the guy has all these thoughts, then it's going to be detrimental to the Vriddha. Detrimental. Why detrimental? Because it's going to take him away from Parama Purushartha. Yeah, at that age, he has to be thinking about moksha. And it will just pull him away from moksha completely. That is what they are saying. Vriddasya Taruni Visham. So now the question is, Vedanta, can it be Visham or can it be liberating? Advaita Vedanta. It ought to be liberating, but it can be poison also. Some parents come and tell me, my children, they should study Bhagavad Gita. I said, wait. Slow down. What do you mean by study Bhagavad Gita? Your child is hardly in the third grade, fourth grade. You mean to say Parayanam? Let them learn to chant it? Yeah, that's, of course, they should learn to do all that. Teach them Nirvana Shatkam, let them chant. But you can't teach Nirvana Shatkam to them. You can't conduct a class on Nirvana Shatkam. Manobuddhyahankara Chittani Naham. If you say, they will get confused totally. Thank God they don't know the meaning of it when they chant. Thank God they don't know the meaning. Later on, when the time comes, it will help them. But now let them chant. Keep on chanting all these things. Otherwise, it will become visham for them. They're not. It's not the age where you talk about, give lectures on tattvam, Brahma tattvam, and all that. No. And so that idea is there. But that's just by the way. But here what we are saying is, okay, basic Shravanam is required. That is one obstacle, is I did not study enough. Number two, Pramana Ashanka is there, Pramana Asambhavana. For that also I have to study. Except now, for me to, I can study even more. I can engage in debates and then I can use my intellect. I can allow my intellect to be challenged. And so, Likewise, there is this third type of intellectual obstacle which is called prameya asambhavana. As you know, prameyaha means the object of knowledge. What is it you're studying? That is called prameyam. I don't have pramana shanka. No, I believe that Veda is the pramanam for this. There I have no problem. But now my problem is what the Veda says, what Shankaracharya says is a problem, because there are so many other acharyas who say so many different things. And so now I have a problem. I cannot reconcile these things. I'm struggling. How do I trust Shankaracharya? How do you know Adi Shankaracharya is right? Is there some other acharya who's given him a certificate? This is an issue now. This is an issue. And so that thing, how do I know I'm the limitless reality? Nobody talks like this. All other darshanas are just way far apart. Their ideas of moksha and existence, and for them everything is satyam. Satyam mithya itself is not there for them. Within the realm of satyam, they have an idea of what is moksha. Everything is satyam. Vishishta also, even though they call themselves Advaitins, it's Satyam. Everything is Satyam, no Mithya is there. Before Srishti, they say Vishishta Ishvara was one. After Srishti, Ishvara is manifest as many. Ishvara has become many. And then at Pralaya, again Ishvara will be one. Brahma will be one. Now Brahma is many. Like this and all, they have ideas. Means different interpretation, that's all. And so, either everybody is wrong. Everybody is wrong. Why should you say any one of us is correct? That also may not be a true statement. Like these doubts we can all have. And so, again, Bhashyam, solution is the same thing. Again, Shankara's Bhashyam will help us. He's going to bring all the Purvapaksha Siddhantas. Nastikas is there on one side, Astikas are there on one side. And Vedavyasa does not spend time on Nastikas. And he thinks it's a waste of time even talking about this Nastikavada. Brahma Nasti, Aham Nasmi iti Vada. He doesn't, you don't, there's not, he doesn't spend time on that. The time is spent on all the Astikavadina. And there itself different ideas are proposed. And Vedavyasa in chapter 2 of the Brahma Sutram, first chapter is called what? Samanvaya Adhyayaha. Second chapter is called Avirodha Adhyayaha. Avirodha. Avirodha means what the Shastram is saying, what the Upanishads are saying as Advaita Vedanta is unopposed to any other pramanam. It is non-contradictory. Two contradictory things staying together, the intellect cannot accept. It can't accept. Illogic can't accept. And so he talks about Avirodhadhyaya, where he refutes all these Astika darshanas. And then further, there are many other advanced texts. It's called Siddhi Granthas. Last year, our Swamiji taught in our Asha Seva Kendram. Our Ananta Chaitanya Swamiji taught Naishkarmya Siddhi. So these texts are all typically, they're all advanced texts. Naishkarmya Siddhi, Advaita Siddhi, Brahma Siddhi. So Madhusudana Saraswati wrote Advaita Siddhi. So there it is just Purvapaksha Siddhanta, only debate. So that is how that is addressed. What is addressed? Prameya Shanka is addressed. Shanka, because there are no emotional issues. I have problem with just logic itself. I can't accept certain things. What can I do about it? And the only way to do is clear up whatever is obstructing me. The logic that is obstructing me. or the logic that I need, that I don't have. All right. So in Vivekachoodamani, Shankaracharya assumes that we are all qualified. We are all adhikaris. We have qualified in all respects, all four respects, right? Viveka, Vairagyam, Shamadamadi Shatka Sampattihi, and Mumukshutvam. And so the text, the good thing about that assumption, that Shankaracharya makes is that the text is in this case, it is meant for a beginner. And so I don't have to bring in all kinds of issues around all these things. Just study, just come and enjoy the course, enjoy the study, enjoy the slokas. And so we study. And any beginner can pick it up and get exposed to Advaita Vedanta and get ready to study some more. The next Prakarana Grantha, next Upanishad, or Bhagavad Gita also, it gives a foundation to study. And so, if the problem is intellectual, like we just discussed 3 types of intellectual obstacles, then Shravanam only can be the solution. Mananam only can be the solution. But not Nididhyasanam. Why? Because in Nididhyasanam, no new logic, no new knowledge can be created. In Dhyanam, Dhyanam is a process where you dwell on what you already know. Or if it could be Ishtadevata, Manasa Vyaparaha, thinking about Ishtadevata, and then staying with it. That is Dhyanam. Nididhyasanam, okay, staying with the teachings of the Shastram, like all the shlokas we studied. Kshetrajñam chapi mam vidhi. Staying with that sentence, that word itself. Kshetrajñan kshetram. Kshetra kshetrajña vibhagaha. The chapter is called. What do I understand what that means? Staying with that. And staying with that means nothing new is going to get generated. I can only gain sthiratvam in what I already know. And therefore, meditation, Nididhyasanam, cannot be a solution to address these intellectual obstacles we talked about. Okay. And so, very interesting how Panchadeshikara says, Avantarena Vakyena Paroksha Brahmadhir Bhavet. He is talking about Paroksha Jnanam and Aparoksha Jnanam. How Paroksha Jnanam happens. Paroksha Jnanam means Ishvara Jnanam. Ishvara Jnanam means Saguna Ishvara Jnanam. Saguna Ishvara Jnanam all of us have. Even the average person has that. But a person who studies Vedanta will get more of it. By what? Avantara Vakya Jnanina. Avantara Vakya means all the statements which are available to us. Vishnu Sahasranamam, when you read it, chant, not even study. When you chant, you get to know about Vishnu. Bhagavatam, if you study, you get to know about Bhagavan. That's why it's called Bhagavatam, And so that he says, Paroksha Brahmadhihi. Like that he says in Panchadashi, 7.69. Then he says, Mahavakya Vicharat. Now you are ready for Jiveshwara Aikyam. Mahavakya Vicharat. Then what will happen? Aparokshadhihi. That buddhi will now gain aparoksha jnanam. Until now paroksha jnanam, now aparoksha jnanam. Like that Panchadashikara says. So, therefore, our Swamijis will caution at this time. At which time? When emotional obstacle, we're going to come. I'm just completing this thought process. When such a situation arises where I've listened and listened and still I feel like I'm even a great teacher, and like last time I said this, I'm even a great teacher, but I am not really, I'm teaching because I love to teach, but the Brahma Jnana Phalam is not there. My students are telling me thank you and they are getting moksha and walking away. And Swamiji, Paramathananda. And so if that is the feeling there, then what I want, don't say at that point I have to experience Brahman. Now I know Brahman, now I have to experience Brahman. Don't get trapped into that kind of thinking. That is not the problem. You can't experience Brahma because it is asaptam, asparsham, arupam, avyayam. Okay. And then what? I forgot that mantra.
तदा
Katamut.
रसं तदा रसं
Tatha rasam nityam agandhavachayat.
गम्यते
Tatha rasam. Tatha arasam. Nityam agandhavachayat. Hey, there's no chance of you objectifying Brahma. How many times the Shastra keeps on telling? And so don't say, I want the experience of Brahman. It is just an irresponsible statement to make. If the average person says all this, the people who are supposed to stop people from thinking like that have converted this whole Shastram into Brahma Anubhava Shastram, so that you can sit and meditate. A meditation will do wonders to every human being. And they got some flash of this thing, and they also found meditation to be very powerful, and they ignore the shastram completely. Hey, Brahma Anubhava is there every second, you just don't know it. That's all. I don't know it. And so instead of paying heed to the Upanishads, they started, they took their students in a journey of Brahma Anubhava. A Anubhava is not sitting and thinking about Brahman and experiencing Brahma. And somehow Brahma gave me that solid, beautiful experience. Enjoyed that experience. Not like that. Anubhava is aparoksha jnanam that Panchadashikara just now talked about. Brahma Anubhava. Aparoksha jnanam of Anubhava. Aparokshanubhutihi. Chakracharya writes a text. Aparokshameva anubhutihi. Aparoksha jnanameva anubhutihi. So therefore, we are not looking for Brahma Anubhava or Brahma Jnana Anubhava. No. Brahma Jnana Phala Anubhava, if you can say, that is acceptable. That Brahma Jnana must have an impact in me. What impact is there in me? Like that I can question. So Phala Anubhava I want. Okay, that is fine. That is fine. And so then that whole relative, significantly free from fear, ragadvesha. I'm no longer a victim of ragadveshas. Like that, those are all the benefits of this Brahma Jnanam. And that is what Krishna also says. When Arjuna asked him the question, Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava, shloka number 54, 2.54, Bhagavad Gita. Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthitadhir kim prabhashita. Because now Arjuna wants to visualize that jnani that you are talking about. You're praising jnanam so much. How can I identify a person who has jnanam? How does he walk? How does he talk? Kim prabha. That is what he's saying. So immediate prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan. आत्मन्येवात्मना तुष्टः स्थितप्रज्ञस्तदोच्यते. That Sthita Prajna, he began describing Prajahati Yada Kama. So am I a Sthita Prajna? And that seems to be the phalam of this Brahma Vidya. So he describes all that there. Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha. With so much arthritis, pain in my knees and everywhere, all joints, can I say Atmana Tushtaha? Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha? Yeah, so that's the idea of Atmana Tushtaha. Hey, I don't need anything. I'm free. I'm free. I have to undergo my prarabdha. Body is undergoing prarabdha. Nobody can stop it. Nobody can stop it. Even Brahmajnanam cannot stop it. Because Brahmajnanam's job is not to stop physical pain. Physical pain following different law altogether. So, Dukkeshvanudvignamanaha Sukeshu Vigataspruhaha Vitaragabhayakrodaha Sthitadir Muniruchyate. Okay. Dukkeshu Anudvignamanaha. Hey, even though, look at that, Dukkeshu, in sorrowful situations, that means what? When a jnani experiences sorrowful situations, that means Krishna is accepting that there is a situation called dukkha, even for a jnani. But anudvigna manaha is not carried away by it. He understands that there is a prarabdha that is operating. It has nothing to do with me, the Atma. That is the vision. That is why knowledge is liberating. Sukeshu vigata spruhaha. Hey, when there are experiences of pleasant experiences, happy experiences, joyful experiences, then also he doesn't get carried away. I can get carried away in joyful experiences, but I need freedom from sorrow. That won't work. That won't work. Sukeshu vigatat. Whatever enjoyment is there, the person knows that. That is also a result of prarabdha. And vigata spruha. Spruha means what? Got carried away, attached to. So, Vita Raga Bhaya Krodaha Sthitadir Munirachyate. We saw all this in the Bhagavad Gita. And so, Na Abhinandati, Na Dveshti. All this is Brahma Jnana Phala Anubhava, correct? Neha Bhikramana Shosti Pratyavayo na Vidyate. No, not Neha. Yes, Sarvatra Bhisneha Tat Tat Prapya Shubhashubham Nabhinandati na Dveshti Tasya Prajna Pratishtita. Shakra, I mean, Krishna is just responding to Arjuna's question there. Na Abhinandati na Dveshti. If I do not get elated, but I enjoy whatever is happening, then it is hard to get depressed and hard to get unhappy also. That will be the Brahma Jnana Phalam. That phalam is what I also want. Like that. Our views like that. So therefore, Tamil, this song is there. I think Rajaji wrote that song. Kurai ondrumillai Maraimurti Kanna Kurai Ondrum Illai Kanna Kurai Ondrum Illai Govinda. Kurai in Tamil means deficiency, lacking. There is no lack. Kurai Ondrum Illai. There is no lack. I have no lack. I have no lack. Maraimurti Kanna. Hey, you, the embodiment of wisdom, Maraimurti. You are your knowledge incarnate. Like that, Krishna is being addressed. And so, Swami Paramarthanandaji says, this should not remain, the joy should not remain in music also. It should pervade, it should be there in you, not just in music, not just when you're listening to this. So, that intellectual obstacles we have talked about and how to address that. But here, Nididhyasana shlokas, Shankaracharya is writing almost 150 of those and meant to address what is the second type of obstacle, which is the emotional barriers, emotional obstacles, emotional or psychological obstacles. very interesting. Talking about, see, we are very comfortable talking about some physical problem we have. But mental problem, that's a uh, people, we don't like to sometimes even acknowledge there is a problem here, some problem. It should be solvable. All problems should be solvable, but it is inside. Oh, you have mental problem? Is that what it is? And so somehow it's a stigma. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Stigma. Okay, don't call it mental problem. Don't call it psychological problem. Emotional challenges. Do we have any emotional challenges? Maybe give a euphemism to it so that emotionally, are you okay? We are not taught this. At least I was not taught any of these things. These days, I don't know in schools whether they teach all these things or not. They talk about children committing suicide and all. What are you doing about it? Teaching the same mathematics, physics all through and drilling, making people study, memorize all this. They're saying education system is not good. When are you going to change the education system? You keep on saying education system is not good. So I'm just mind-boggling it is to me. And things are changing. I mean, NEP is there, National Educational Policy and all. Good things have come. Anyway, so it is like the guy. So emotional problem is what? Hey, it is like the guy who is going on a walk in this forested area. Okay, and then on the way he finds a something in the far away. There's a python. There's a python. So he's happy, but he's not happy also. Happy because he saw a python, how many of us can see a python? And so he sees this python day after day after day. And so he's afraid. He avoids it. One day he goes, then he's there. He avoids that, and then he goes through others. So habitually avoiding that. And so he avoids that trait. Same thing, we are also habitually avoiding certain things. So that is just a habitual error. The minute I inquire into it, I will know that it is not a python. It is just a bark of a tree, fallen tree that appears curved like this somehow to your eyes. The son went to college and then came home. And suddenly he says, no, I'm not interested in working. I'm not interested in any further education. Then what masters you're going to do? No, I'm not. What are you going to do? I'm not interested in doing anything. Means what? Parents are just shocked, shell shocked. What happened to my son? Something happened. He was okay until he was okay. Last year also he was okay. Then what happened? Something happened in that 1 year. Something happened. Something happened, which has impacted this boy's thinking process and mind. Some emotional trauma has occurred, which makes him say all these things. And so some mental block is there. Even here also, there is some kind of a mental block. Could be there, emotional block. And Swamiji says it's like this. You turn on the faucet, water is not there. Water is not coming. What happened? Is the tank empty? Here we rely on tanks, overhead tanks. And so it's not empty or what? I thought America somehow there are no water tanks until once I saw huge water tanks are there. So I thought some pressure somewhere, somebody is pumping water. No, it's not pumping water. They also pump water, but there is the water tank there also. And So what tank has water, pipe is connected, then why water is not coming? Some block is there somewhere. You have to figure out, open the taps in between, check where the water is blocked and remove that block. That is the only way out. You don't have to bring water. You don't have to install pipes. Nothing is required. Everything is in place, but something is blocking the system. Like that, we look at this emotional block also. And so we spent some time in the Atmabodha class talking a lot about how over the years we may have become more and more approval seeking, craving for attention, all these ideas, these problems, that these things which we don't know, unless we assess ourselves, we won't know that these are all just problems that nag us for the rest of the life. And so Swamiji talks about that child in us. Okay, I may have mentioned it in the last class, otherwise maybe it's the Atmabodha class. The child in us is craving for attention, craving for this, craving to do something or the other. And that child will not allow Vedanta, allow me to listen to Vedanta. Or even if I listen to Vedanta, child will nag and then will not allow the teaching to stick. It will not allow. So address the child first. That's the idea. Child is manifest as this emotional disturbances and needs that are really not logical. They are not logical needs. How much attention I want, how much approval I want. Even now I want approval. Why can't I help others and just be happy? Whether people recognize me or not, how does it matter? Why am I victimized by all the rules that have been set up by people over the years? The rules were meant to help me, all right. And I'll continue to follow the rules, all right. No problem with that. But why am I so matlabi? Why do I want things from situations and people all the time? Why can't I now just give, keep on giving? So that Swami talks about that childhood, the traumatic experience in childhood, or just the role modeling, improper role modeling by parents and other caregivers when I was a child. All those things begin to, they have an impact on the person, and the unconscious is meant to absorb. That's a shock absorber. It is shock absorber, but it also absorbs it and keeps it. It can't release the shock, that energy. That energy has to be released, and it is waiting for the right time to release. Until then, it is there in the back of the head, and that is what is called unconscious. And so and Swapna was talking about that there is two diagrams. You call the intellectual, draw a circle and put the word intellect in between. That is called intellect. That is the intellect, what do you call it? Space. And then you got the emotion space. Something like right brain, left brain. Okay. That two spaces are there. Two circles are there. Okay, this is a better way. Two circles are there. But they also have an intersection point like this. They're not distinct, separate like this. They're meeting. They do meet. And there is an intersection also. It seems in psychology they say this is the intellectual mind, this is the emotional mind, this is the wise mind. WISE, wise mind, it seems. I'm very happy that they say that. And you cannot but come to that conclusion. Because that's how it is. You can't ignore the emotion and aspect of the human being. That is why Ardhanarishwari. All of us are Ardhanarishwaris, correct? My God. Anyway, so much is there that we don't know. And so this competitive world that we live in, the children are put through so much competition. And they don't, they become automatons. We want them to produce. And for what? What is the goal of life? So sometimes it makes me sad when I think of that system. And so now parents are trying to figure out homeschooling. What is the system? What we say, we live in a progressive society. Where is the government? But every parent cannot look out and create a homeschooling system. But we can't. This is where this country, this government is meant for. Organic food everywhere. You keep on searching. You have to keep on asking everybody, is this good? Is this good to eat and all that? Just everybody, people will suffer. How we all can't become scientists. And so, but anyway, that is how it is, I suppose. Like, we can't get upset about all these things. This is how, this is it. This is life. And so the child needs some time to grow up. And so our camps that we conduct, the children love these camps because they are not judged in these camps. They are free. And as I said the other day, one parent said, what do you like about this camp? This boy was free without the phone, no screen time at all. And he did not want the phone after going home also. No, but teacher has given me some homework. I look at this, I need to draw all these things. My God, when I heard that from that parent, I felt so good. Because I'm not teaching children, so I don't get to hear all these stories firsthand. That shows that children need all that. They're missing out on these things. I feel there's something they miss out. So, anyway, Uddhared Atmanatmanam, Natmanam Avasadayet. Krishna is telling us. Even though in this particular Vedanta, he doesn't have to talk. But the advantage is that text, Bhagavad Gita is like that. That is the advantage. That's why Swami Chinmayanandaji, Swamiji says, popularized Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because it is there for everybody. Everybody will get something out of it. Kshetrajnan chapi mam vidhi is there. Mahavakyam is there. But before that, so much is there. Karma Yoga is there. Arjuna's problem is there. Arjuna's anguish is there. We can all relate to that. And you want Dhyanam. Dhyanam also is there. Chapter 6, Atma Samyama Yoga is there. Pranayama, you want a little bit of pranayama also. Krishna mentions along the way. So everybody will have something or the other from Bhagavad Gita. And I told you this joke. Not joke, it's really real. And when he started teaching Bhagavad Gita, all the orthodox people said, how can you teach Bhagavad Gita to the public? It is all Guhya Shastram. This has to be kept only for those who come and listen to you. This. And Chinmayanandaji said, correct, I do that. In fact, Krishna himself said, Ascharyavat pashyati kaschide. Everybody will look at this with Ascharya only. And Ascharyavat vadati tathaiva chanyaha. Ascharyavat chainamanya shrunoti. Shrutvaapyepi vedana chaiva kaschit. Even after listening, they don't understand, it seems. Like that, Krishna himself says, guys, don't you know this? Oh, really? Yes, that's why you should study Bhagavad Gita first before commenting on others talking about Bhagavad Gita. So all that he said, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. Hey, among 1,000 people, one fellow is going to say, yeah, is this what it is? And so you don't worry. I will go and keep talking in public. Nothing will happen. Don't worry. Then it seems they got quiet. Kerala. This is a Kerala story. So that emotional problems build up, and periodically we have to decompress. The children have to be allowed to decompress. Adults also need that same decompression. Those days, sannyasis used to come, panditas used to come and give Bhagavata Parayanam, this Saptah and so forth. And people used to stay in the villages and they used to listen, sit and listen. As a family, they used to sit and listen. These days, it's all, everybody has their own TV and own phone, and we don't know who is watching what. And so much is there. And one psychologist, Swami, sannyasis were our psychologists. All the wise people were our psychologists. We used to tell about our problems to them. They are the only people. And they will say, okay, uh, okay, you please stay away. I want to talk to her, like that. Means what? This husband and wife are there. There is some problem. There's some problem. And she has come to talk to Swamiji, right? The husband comes together. No, I'm glad both of you are together, but right now, just wait there for some time, just for 5 minutes. Here, this togetherness won't help. And so, then she feels that somebody is hearing her. So much is there. All this I learned by watching. We all learn it. Swamiji, I mean, how much time I spent with Swamiji, and people used to come and talk to him. We used to wait. And this, I was talking about this guy, this person who was my therapist. I said, I visited a therapist for some time, 8, 9 sessions. That guy's name is Harvey Aronson. Harvey Aronson. Aronson is what? Aronson. Okay, I got that name the other day. And he's a Buddhist guy. He's a Caucasian, all right. But he's somehow got exposed to Buddhism, and he's written a book also. It's called something like Buddhism on Western Ground. Something like that. He's written a book. Okay. Buddhist practice on Western ground. You can Google it. And I purchased the book also. Because after all, he's my guru, right? He's my therapist. So when he wrote a book, I bought it. And he says many things there. One thing I still remember. It seems the Indian guy, that alcoholic, and he approached us, Swami. And then, Swamiji, I have a problem. I have alcoholism. I'm addicted to alcohol. Then he said, he gave a vibhuti and said, don't worry, everything will be all right. Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you, Swamiji. This has all happened. And this, Harvey says, such a thing would not be acceptable in Western psychology. Such a thing will not even be discussed in Western psychology. Such a thing will not happen in the US. Somebody is saying, psychology is saying it will be all right. How it will be all right? You're an addict. You need to join a de-addiction program. And here Swamiji says it will be all right. And then he follows it up. He says, and the person gets better also. And he does come back and say, Swamiji, thanks to your blessings, my life is much better. So Harvey says, time's up here. Harvey says, the fact that it works finally is proof that this is a good solution. I, as a Western psychologist, won't know how to prove it. I don't have a theory to prove this. Nothing I have. But the fact that it is working itself shows that it's perfectly acceptable. I can't be that Swamiji, but it's working. Like that, he writes. I found it to be very interesting. Anyway, Shambhala.com. If you want a website, Shambhala, Shambala. Anyway, whether it is there or not these days, it might be. It's been a while since I looked it up. But anyway, so what we are doing is to unpack this whole process of this Shastra. Pravritti, studying the Shastram and how Vedanta works. So we are taking some time to do that. We'll continue this and then before we get to the shloka itself. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.